This is Christmas 1978. We had the whole gang here with the exception of Michael, who was in Los Angeles, and EJ, who was in Georgia. We had a great feast. A lot of presents were exchanged by all. We had a couple of inches of dirty white snow on the ground to make it a gray Christmas. Now, ordinarily, we'd be doing this tape on New Year's Eve, but in view of the fact that Clayton has to return to Chicago tomorrow, we are going to have him on this tape now, and we'll fill in on New Year's Eve with the other members of the family. Okay, Clay.
Okay, thanks, Dad. 1978 has been a very highlighted year for me. I guess I could say the first big highlight was the completion of my Master of Engineering degree at Clarkson College of Technology in Potsdam, the same place I got my bachelor's. It was about a year and 2 months after I received my bachelor's, I successfully defended my Master of Engineering thesis entitled Two-Dimensional Floodplain Modeling. It's a time-dependent flood model, in which a lot of hard work went into, and in which I learned a great deal. And shortly after obtaining this degree, I began work at Harza Engineering Company, a very fine international professional consulting firm based in Chicago. We deal mainly with large water projects such as hydroelectric power plants and irrigation, water supply for cities, and although we are into a large variety of other projects, we're in I guess we're about 12th or 13th in the country in total billings in the past year. I do a lot of overseas work. My duties right now consist of conducting flood insurance studies in the greater Chicago area. I'm given a little bit of responsibility in my job. I'd have to honestly say I'm getting more responsibility now than I had initially anticipated, being right out of college, which is good. And there seems to be plenty of opportunity for advancement, being still very young. And I guess those would have to be my two biggest highlights of the year. I'd like to add that I'm sorry I couldn't be here on New Year's Eve, and this is a long-standing tradition in the Smith household, although I'm glad I was able to make it home for Christmas, and I'm looking at this short trip as not a short vacation but a long weekend, and I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, Clay, this is December the 28th, and although we are a few days short of New Year's Eve, I thought I would take this extra time to put on last year's diary, and then we can add on New Year's Eve.
Okay, here we are starting a new tape for 1978. As it is right now, Myra and Dad are awaiting Ronnie and Lorraine Robidoux to come down and to have a few drinks with us tonight. Otherwise, we will spend an evening at home. Mike and Clayton are somewhere in Boston. Timmy and Dave are out somewhere. JP and Kimberly are at home. Matt took off with EJ down to Kentucky, and his whereabouts is unknown to us at this time. Snow has been forecast for tonight, but so far it has failed to materialize. January 1st, Myra and Dad attend Martha Hartley's annual brunch. A excellent time was had by all, and the usual quality of her meals is unsurpassed. January 2nd, first significant snowfall of the year, 3 inches. All the boys are out there this morning, got the driveway cleaned off, just as bare as the living tremendous financial losses because of the abnormally high tides and flooding. January 14 and January 15, the entire East Coast is devastated by a freezing rainstorm that brings trees, power lines down, thousands of houses without electricity. Mom and Dad have to go into Green Airport to pick up Matt coming in from Florida. The driving is extremely treacherous. We get there only to find that his flight has been canceled. We have to return home, then return back to Providence that night to pick him up at Union Station. When the driving has become even more treacherous, the entire roads being completely ice-slicked all the way between here and Providence. What a night. January 20. It was called the Superstorm of 1978. A northeaster dumps about 26 inches of snow locally in about 18 hours. Governor Garrahy tonight declared a state of emergency in the state of Rhode Island to assist in the removal of all the snow. The state is at a complete standstill this date. This storm broke all sorts of records. The National Guard has been called out. It's been quite a month so far. The Weather Bureau states that this has been the heaviest snowfall in 9 years, and I can believe it. January 21st, we spend the day digging out. January 26th, a tropical storm on this date. Temperatures go up into the 50s, heavy rains measuring in excess of 2 inches, rapid melting of all this accumulated snow with flooding of all the streets and highways, impeding traffic, calling off school, and making one unbelievable mess. Wind gusts were recorded on my weather station by JP up to 63 miles per hour. February the 6th and February the 7th, dates to be remembered for a long time. The heaviest snowstorm in the history of the Weather Bureau brings the state of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey to their knees. Everything is completely paralyzed as approximately 42 inches of snow fall in the driveway out front of the house, drifted by heavy winds clocked at 50 to 55 miles an hour on our weather station here. Rhode Island is declared a national disaster area, and federal troops are being flown in from Louisiana and Georgia to help untangle this terrible mess that we have here. The main roads are clogged with abandoned cars. There have been numerous deaths attributed to the storm. Postal service, banks, stores, schools have all suspended operations, undoubtedly for the rest of this week while we get dug out of this horrible mess that we're in right now. There's so much snow in some of these side streets that the snow plows are unable to get through, and they are calling in bulldozers and front-end loaders to aid in the snow removal. Drifts up to 8 and 10 feet high are very common all over the place. The official measurement of snowfall in Burrillville ranges anywhere from 4 to 4.5 feet. This area undoubtedly got the heaviest fall of any other part of the affected area. After 2 days of snow removal by Dave and JP and myself and Mar and Kim, we are now in pretty good shape as far as the driveway is concerned. After a short trip around town this afternoon, I cannot possibly see how this town can get back on its feet in a week or more. March the 14th, Tim goes into the Woonsocket Hospital to have 4 impacted wisdom teeth removed by Dr. Paul. March the 16th, Tim comes home, pretty good shape, just a moderate amount of swelling of his face and one terribly sore jaw. March the 16th, the snow is falling again. March the 25th, Tim leaves at the Red Jacket Inn. We were there from the 12th until the 14th. The weather was excellent. It was too cold and too windy to really enjoy the outdoor weather. April the 15th, a brand new 911 SC Porsche is installed in Dad's garage. June 13, Dave graduates from the Burrillville High School. June 29, Dad is one of the recipients of the Maharishi Award granted tonight at the Pulaski State Park. The applause was deafening and my ears are still ringing. June the 30th, a new Oldsmobile Omega hatchback is delivered into the driveway, and it's all Mars. At last, the old Mercury Bobcat has given up the ghost and died tonight, or last night, on the Black Hut Road in Glendale. July 12, Myra and Dad start their summer vacation for a couple of weeks. July 14, Charlie Tessier starts the repairs on the house. July 22nd, we have a big families reunion, well attended by representatives from both the Smith and the Lawrence families. The day was extremely hot and humid, but everybody seemed to have a good time. July 24, Clay starts a new job with the Haza Corporation in Chicago, Illinois. August the 2nd, EJ and his family arrive from Tennessee for a visit. August the 6th, Matt and Dave take off for Florida to join Mike in his business venture. September 10, the Belleville police are alerted when JP, Kimberly, and Jackie are reported missing, as it was that they were over at the cabin playing cards. September 28, Matt drives off in a Datsun, a 74. October 1st, Kimberly makes a confirmation. Early in October, Brian comes to live with us for a while. October 12, Myra and Dad finally make the break and fly down to Orlando, Florida to spend a few days with Mike and Tim and Dave. We had a great time down there, visited the Kennedy Space Center, which is just unbelievable. We had a rainy day, and we came back on Sunday, the 15th, which was a beautiful day, and we arrived back home at about 7:30 that night. Ma was very apprehensive about the flight, but the coup de grace came when we arrived back at Green Airport on Sunday night. Lo and behold, Dad's luggage is lost. It was returned, however, on the following day, the following morning. And now we'll turn this tape over. October the 24th, Ma takes off with Jenny to the vet to have her given a black pill. She returned with Jenny with a bag full of yellow pills. November 4, Timmy moves home from Florida as Ventron and Dave move operations to the West Coast. November 13, Jeff and family move to Harrisville. November 21st, first snowstorm of the season. We get about 3 inches of mess. November 23rd, Thanksgiving. Ma prepares her usual delicious meal. Those in attendance were Jeff and his family, Matthew back from Rhode Island College, JP, and Tim, who is still with us. Those who are absent were Mike and Dave, who called from Las Vegas, where they are in the process of setting up a new business of some sort. Clayton in Chicago enjoying himself no end. Brad was at home. He made no appearance here. EJ is in Georgia. He called, and I guess they're all having a good time down there. A good time was had by all. December 17, Dave arrives home from Las Vegas, tired and broke. December 19, the Belleville High girls basketball team defeats the Mount St. Charles basketball team by 2 points. The
going to record. This is December the 30th, the night before we usually make our recording for the year. But as Matt does not expect to be here tomorrow night, we thought we would get his memories of 1978 on this tape, along with any other members who are not going to be here. All right, Matt, you all set?
Yep. Well, I've completed 3.5 years now at URI. I should be getting my degree in electrical engineering this coming May 27th is the graduation date. And I had about 12 interviews on campus last month. Started late in October and went until I got out of school in December. And I have a trip to Chicago coming up with Central Telephone Company of Illinois through Dad's friend Bill Ormsby. He's going to get me a job in there, hopefully. And I have 3 other second interviews. One with Raytheon in Massachusetts, Lexington, Mass. GTE Sylvania in Needham Heights, and Electric Boat in Groton. And I should be hearing from other companies shortly. This summer I spent about a month with Mike and Tim and Dave out in Florida, where we did a little bit of traveling and hanging around and swimming and not too much else. I went to Tampa to visit my friends on weekends, and that was pretty good. Oh yeah, and Dad let me borrow some money to get me a 1974 Datsun. Runs very nice, and since I moved off campus this year, it's helped out quite a bit. I've had the car for about 3 months, and I haven't had anything wrong with it except for the emergency brake froze. That was about it. I am the president of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers at URI, and my various duties include ordering my officers to arrange parties and speakers and various tours of the department, and a couple other odd jobs, membership drives and stuff like that. It helps for on the resume when you're getting a job, because they like to see people, the IEEE officers. Well, my friend Bob Boragine, who lived up in Mapleville, has moved to Florida for good now. His family also moved out there. And also Dave Labossiere is out there now for a couple of years, and those are the guys I visited in Tampa. And Dave was just home for a little vacation, and we went out and got drunk every night.
Did you get that new watch?
Oh, this new watch I've had for a year or so. I had to.
What about the next summer?
Well, I think that's about it. Happy New Year, everybody, and have a good 1979. That's the year I'll be graduating.
Okay, Matt, now we'll hear from JP. Okay, Jay, take it away.
January 23rd, I got 110 pounds of weights and barbells and dumbbells. February 6th and 7th was a blizzard. It was the worst blizzard in Rhode Island's history. An official record of 52.5 inches of snowfall was recorded in Harrisville, shattering the old record of 29 inches for the February 9th and 10th, 1969 blizzard. February 23rd, I got a 1-watt 2-channel CB walkie-talkie that came with channel 11. February 24th, I got channels 5 crystals and 8 AA batteries for my new walkie-talkie. March 16th and 17th, snow. Total accumulation 8 inches. Only 3 days till spring. June 13th, I bought an 8-track tape player. July 22nd, I bought headphones off the mat.
Me and Tim look alike, Mom?
July 28th, I got an electronic readout digital clock radio. August 12th, I got a noise-canceling microphone for my 3-watt 3-channel CB walkie-talkie. I found out it's the wrong one. August 17th, I got a 5-watt 6-channel CB walkie-talkie. My noise-canceling microphone works great with my new CB walkie-talkie. October 7th, I went to drives training, but was too late. They already had enough people signed up for 2 classes. Later that day, I got a UIT chronograph watch, which is my Christmas presents. October 29th, I went to the NOAA weather radio station in Warwick, Rhode Island. It was very interesting. They had an open house which was open to the public. November 20th, I joined basketball and was on the JV team. We won only one game, that was against Rhode Island School for the Deaf. And since then, I don't know if we had any games because I have driver's training. December 9th, I finally made driver's training and got in. December 30th, I took my final exam in driver's training, and I'm pretty sure I passed. I only have one more class and expect to get my license in February. That's it. For now, have a Happy New Year, and for 1979, and here's Dad.
Okay, JP. Now, here's Ma. She's got a few words to say on this tape for 1978. Okay, Ma, take it.
Right, I have many thoughts for 1978. I will only begin tonight, and I will continue tomorrow night. Ernie's tape-recorded statistics of the weather, along with his daily diary of important events, are very important. They are a good reference bank. However, they seem to leave very little for me to say for the year 1978. However, Ernie has not talked about the practice nor the CNY project. Now, Ernie, would you like to talk about them now?
Okay, Ma. The practice has been as heavy as usual. Ma is my afternoon nurse, and Diane Peck is my evening nurse. Ma continues to break my back with all the extra appointments here and there and every other place. The CNY project is going along at its usual hectic pace. We have had almost a complete turnover of personnel since the project started 3 years ago. I have a complete new staff now, and I can't say that they are as quite as efficient as the original gang was. We have been reviewed by a group from HEW in Washington 5 or 6 weeks ago, and this group was just amazed at what we were doing, never anticipating that we were carrying the patient load that we are. I have received a substantial raise in pay from HEW, and that, of course, was gratefully received. The major events in this year, of course, were the Great Storm in February, the addition of 2 new cars. Mike is still in, pardon? Yeah, oh yeah, 3 new cars. I forgot about Matt's Datsun. Mike is in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, still 1 step ahead of the law. Brad is up in Hopedale, and I guess he's enjoying his coaching more than he is enjoying his teaching. Clayton was here, and he's just having a great time for himself in Chicago. JP is in Georgia. EJ is in Georgia, and has been having all sorts of trouble with his car. And I guess he's enrolled in the electronic school down there and expects to be transferred to Germany any day now. Jeff is in Harrisville now, and he's working for the outlet company and is just enjoying his new job no end, apparently. He's working weekends still for good old Joe Fernandez. Now, who else do I have in line here? Matt is still at URI finishing up his last semester. I have just paid his last college bill down there, thank heavens. And hopefully he will land himself a good job sometime this spring. He's flying out in January to have an interview with Central Bell Telephone, which is Bill Ormsby's company. And then he has countless other interviews with GE and Raytheon and General Dynamics and Texas Instruments and all these other big deal outfits. Now, let's see, who's next in the family line? Dave is still here at home. Plans as for his future are still undetermined. Timmy is still here at home. Plans for the future still undetermined. He's having all sorts of problems with his back. And we just saddled him up with a new $35 low back brace in the last couple of days. JP, still in high school, and he is finishing up his driver's training course. Hopefully, he expects to get a driver's license in the near future, although there are several question marks surrounding that. Thimo is at home. She's a sophomore at Mount St. Charles, and she was on the dean's list this past semester. She's playing basketball over there, and she's about to drop out of basketball because of a major transportation problem, which we have getting her back and forth to the school. Now, let's see. Anything else, Ma? I think we'll just turn this off until tomorrow night, which is the real New Year's Eve. Okay, here it is, the real New Year's Eve. Get out of here, Jennifer. The weather outside is in the high 30s. There's a heavy drizzle going on out there, and it's a kind of a miserable night. Now the family is getting together, and we're going to conclude the 1978 tape. First of all, we're going to hear from Kimberly. Okay, Kim.
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I only have a few things to say. My friend Jeannie Darrow moved to Florida this summer.